Hey guys, it's John, small time bookseller, back here with another video because I did sell some books in the month of February and I'm going to tell you about some of those. That's what I do. That's it. That's what you get here. It's me telling you about books I sold. I don't do the garage sale videos. I don't do yard sale videos. I don't do GoPros at the good old bins looking at my hands that smelled not exactly like burning electrical cord blended with not exactly ammonia, coal dust, nutmeg, but pretty close to that. So yeah, that's what I'm here. I'm going to tell you about some books that I did sell in February. You can tell once again, I'm in my office. Once again, making videos on company time, breaking the law. And so I'm waiting for my daughter. She's across the street. Band practice till 8:30. You'd figure of all the places that would realize this is a school night, it'd be a school. But anyhow, that's okay. Gives me time to do this because I've been really busy. But eBay has not necessarily been so busy. It's kind of picked up in the last week or so, but it hasn't been real strong. So in this video that I'm going to talk to you, this is going to cover February 1st through February 10th, possibly 15th. I don't remember when I wrote this list a few days ago. So I think we're going to call it February 1st through February 10th. I'll put it in the description, the correct date. But it's one of those, so I'll either do maybe one more video to cover the rest of February. But so probably, I don't remember. I'm sorry. So this will cover February 1st through February 10th. I'm just going with that. No, February 15th, 14th, 13th. Yeah, sometime mid-February. You don't care. So, but it was only 20 sales. So that's more than one a day. I am the small time bookseller. So one a day should be pretty good. I did have one really good sale in this group. So please stick around to the end to see that. And we'll see what we can do here. So we're going to get into it. So it shouldn't be too long of a video because I have no props to show you today. And nothing else to share, really. So we'll talk about a few of these, but mostly it's just going to be let me tell you what's sold so you can find it yourself someday. We're going to start off with this one. African Air, sold for $10. This is old book. The book's not old. I've had it for a long time. And every time I think about going through and pulling the stacks and pulling the ones that I've sat there for 2 years, I end up selling one, and I kind of stopped doing that. So until I actually physically don't have any more space to put books, I'm going to go ahead and keep them all up. I know I've talked in the past about pulling the dead ones, but I am running out of room, so that may happen sooner rather than later. But for now, I've got some space, so I'm just going to leave it up. And things like this that have been sitting there for 2 years, dropped the price a couple times, and it finally does sell. The next one is Fight to Survive, the hardcore self-defense against armed and unarmed. I don't really know why you'd need that much help against somebody who doesn't have any arm. Oh, it's not what it means. Oh, right. Obviously. That's over $10. Self-defense books sell for me pretty well. In fact, I'm going to link here an old video. One of the first really big sales that I ever had was a self-defense book called Kung Lee's Sun Show, and it was a I don't remember, a couple $100 or so, but it was a really big sale. So I'll link that video up here, so if you want to go and see that one to get an idea of another self-defense book that's really valuable. Then we had T.S. Eliot's Collected Poems from 1909 to 1962. That one sold for $10. And moving on, the Kama Sutra and Tantric Sex, sold for $10 as well. You can guess that one's probably going to sell. Pretty well-known book, and it's going to sell. And then we followed up with another one that sells a lot of the back pain, Fixing You, back pain. Surprisingly, not sold to the same buyer as the previous book. But back pain books really do sell quite a bit. I've sold several knee pain and back pain relief books. Good ones to pick up if you see them. That was only a $10 sale. And then we're moving up to the $12. This was Workshop Survival Guide, which sold for $12. And then after that, we had the Restoration Handbook, which sold for $12.95. I believe that's church restoration, but not like home restoration, I think. Then we had the ELL Teacher's Toolbox, sold for $15. This was another one of those that I got from work that we were tossing out. And it was either go to the trash or go to my house. And I went to my house, and I've been trying to sell them. It's a good book, $15. And then my one not a book I had this time. One not a book sale, just the one, yes. I don't know how the eBay algorithm works, but it definitely works this way. So I've had these, I picked up 4 of these, they're anodized aluminum bonsai training wires, rolls of these. I picked up 4 of them, kept one for myself, and going to sell the other 3. I've had them for sale for a long time. Sold this one for $20, and the next day I sold the other 2. So it had to have been put up on a, it hit an algorithm somewhere where, hey, somebody's selling this one, somebody else looks, so mine must have popped up. Because it's crazy that it would have sold all 3 of them at the same time. It wasn't the next day because I would have had that in this video, but it was shortly thereafter I sold. Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, because the guy that bought the 2 actually said, I'm going to buy these, but I won't be able to buy them until March 1st when I get paid. And he actually did it. Like, that never happens where they actually come March 1st. I said, I'll take down the listing. I'll hold them for you. Just let me know. Send me a message when you're ready to buy them, and I'll create a new listing for you. Combined shipping, because I had, he's buying 2 of them. And so March 1st came and he actually did. He messaged me and said, I'm ready to buy them. And I created a listing and he bought them. So that was amazing that that actually happened that way. But yeah, right away I sold all 3 of them. Moving on, we have the Elements, a visual history. This is, I've sold 2 or 3 of these as well. Sold for $20. And then a couple of music books. This is the Guitar Grimoire. It's progressions, improvisations. It goes through all the scales, modes, modalities, things like that for guitar. And this book is when I first realized, when I first started selling on eBay, and I realized that my local Goodwill was scanning books. Because before that I was going and I see everything's 99 cents, $1.99, really big books, $2.99. And I went in and saw this, and I'd seen another video where somebody had sold it, so I recognized it. I said, oh, Guitar Grimoire, I'm going to get that one. It's paperback, it's got to be 99 cents. And they had it marked for $12.99. And I was like, that can't be right. And I actually went to the manager and asked, this should be 99 cents, right? Like all your other paperbacks? And he's like, no, that's what it says. That's what it says. So I didn't know if somebody in the back wanted it, so they priced it high and then got it later, or if they really did, because next time I went in after that, it was gone. I kind of had a suspicious feeling about the whole thing. But then that's when I realized that they're not just pricing books 99 cents. Paperbacks and $1.99 hardbacks, they're actually thinking about each one, unfortunately. But I'd found this one in the Goodwill bins, and so it did sell for $20. It's a good one. And the next one's another musical book. This is Essential Guide to Walking Bass, and it also sold for $20. So how to learn how to play instruments, learning instruments, sheet music, very good sellers, very good sellers. Languages too, learning languages. And this is Creole meets English, sold for $22. So a Creole is a language that's a combination of 2 other languages. So 2 languages meet in an environment. You go through a pigeon period, when then finally the 2 kind of coalesce into one formal language that then begins to have native speakers of it. That's called a Creole. So Louisiana Creole is a mix of French, probably some African languages, some Native American languages mixed together to become its own language. Haitian Creole is a very well-known language spoken in Haiti. That's a combination of French and probably some native languages that became its own language after that. So then we have the PMP Exam Prep Simplified. It's over $25. Study guides, great ones to pick up always. The Psychiatric Interview. This is one I picked up multiple copies of, and they've been selling for $25 a piece. And the next one we have the Complete Recipes and Instructions for the Vitamix 3600. It's over $25. You thought the Vitamix 3500 was good. No, you haven't seen anything till the Vitamix 3600. You'll be smashing and mashing and dashing and rashing everything in your pantry. Get the 3600 now. Actually, you can't get it now because I sold it. But you can find one and sell it yourself. $25 on that one. More music. Don Helms, a book called Setting the Woods on Fire. Don Helms was guitar player for Hank Williams Band, and that sold for $30. I was surprised that one sold for so high. Just like a paperback book. An older fiction book sold. This is Of Time and the River by Thomas Wolfe. This was a first edition, sold for $35. And then Global Positioning System sold for $60. I thought this one would have sold earlier. I'd have this one for quite a while, and I was actually worried it may be getting out of date, like it wouldn't be valid anymore, but apparently somebody still needed it for $60. And that brings me right to my final book of the video, and this is a good one. I actually featured this on a previous video as one that I picked up, and I was curious about it, and it was called The Diseases of the Air and Food Passages of Foreign Body Origin, and that sold for $100. This is an interesting one, and I think I talked about it in a previous video, but I'll mention it again. When I got this, I couldn't find this book, any comps for it. None on eBay, none on, I think it was listed in Amazon, but it was set out of stock, so it had no prices. Couldn't find any solds. Google search, I could not find this book for sale, but what I did find were references to this book. It would show up in citations. And so I'm thinking, okay, if people are referencing this book, citing the book, and it's got to be a pretty important book. So that's why I priced it as high as I did without having any knowledge of it ever selling for that amount at all. And so that's something to keep in mind. If you don't find an actual book, another example of that would be if you see reprints. So a while back, I sold a forestry book from 1910. I didn't see the forestry book listed very often. I think I might have seen a little bit, but there were a lot of 1970s reprints of this 1910 book. And so if you see a lot of later reprints, if you have that original, obviously that's going to be something that will probably sell more than the reprint would. So that's it for my stories today. So that was 20 books for $471.95, which comes out to a $23.60 average per book, which is slightly lower than my completely made up and arbitrary figure of $25 that I consider to be a good sales period. My Nana books, however, I was right on the money. I was like, we need something quick and easy. Let's make it a $20 average. If we can have Nana books be $20 average, we'll do it. And I did it. Once again, nailed the Nana book average. Ooh, I'm good at that. And so that's going to be it. So kind of a slow month of February. So the next video will cover the rest of February, and then we'll try to get caught up on March. This last weekend was a little better. I ended up, I took 11 books to the post office Monday. So that would have been like Friday, Saturday, Sunday sales. So that was pretty good. And then, kind of getting 1 or 2 a day is kind of where I want to be at for my store and how much I like to sell. So it's been down a little bit lately, and I'm hoping that it picks back up. And I've been listing a lot. I'm going to try not to source anymore until I get all my death pile done. If you've got a big death pile, you've got to get to it. So I've had this stuff, and the reason it's a death pile is because I thought, I get home from the store and you list the ones you think are going to sell, and then the rest of it you kind of lose interest. A lot of the stuff that I'm selling lately is stuff that I've just listed, that have been sitting on my shelf for a long time, and I'm thinking no one's gonna ever want to get this, and I'll list it, and then the next day it sells. And then it's been surprising actually what has sold lately. So hope everything's going well with y'all. Hope you're selling the heck out of a bunch of stuff. And again, I think I'm in just this different environment, and I feel like I'm forgetting something. But I guess not. So hope what's that thing? See you next time, and I hope to see you sooner rather than later. Adios.